Live.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to VaporTrails.tv on this wonderful 24th of November 2014, the year of our Lord, of which we celebrate Evolution. And tonight with me, as always, is David Malik. David, over to you.
I am Caesar.
You what?
War has begun.
So you got me to dress up in a monkey onesie for what? The hell? What?
Dude, this was supposed to be a Planet of the Apes joke, okay? And you've just ruined it, so forget it. Guys, can you run the VT, please?
I thought we were doing Discovery Channel.
No, Planet of the Apes? Numbnuts.
No. Should I get the magic sponge? That's a keeper. Try that again. Oh man. Numpty.
And that's a wrap.
Good evening, ladles and gentle spoons. How the devil are we this fine, glorious November evening? No titles. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll try that again. Ladles and gentle spoons, welcome to Drips and Tips. You should have seen the pre-show. All I'm going to say is capybara. I'm not even sure that's a proper word.
It's a damn good job that people don't see the pre-show, I think.
Nah, man, that'd be great. Right. Compose. Scene. Right, we've got sort of four things to bring to your smorgasbord of things of vapory tonight. On a very foggy evening, I've just realised I've got my windows open, so I shall need to lean over and shut those in a moment. First things first, Dave, you spotted something really, really good. Actually, really, really smart for you. You big gorilla.
No, yeah. Cheers, Andy. Thanks for that.
Your mustache.
Yeah, that's doing my head in. I cannot wait to get rid of it. Next week, live on VTTV, we are going to shave.
You are, I'm not.
You are.
No, I'm not.
It's the end of November. You are. Dave
No,
Dawn told us to, so yes, we will. Anyway.
Dave Dawn's a capybara.
Anyway.
With sauce.
Now, I was one of the few TV shows that I watch. I don't watch much TV, same as you, Andy. But one of the TV shows I do watch is I'm a Celebrity. Go on, go on.
Stop. Right. You watch as much TV as me, and you're about to admit you watch I'm a Celebrity. Get me out of here. That's embarrassing, dude.
No, it's funny. It's probably the funniest show on TV. You've got if you've seen it, it is good. But anyway, now I was watching it when it started, and Craig Charles was in there, and he was openly smoking normal cigarettes, sat there, there was no reason for these shots to be shown. He was just there and he was smoking a cigarette, and then he left. And, you know, heart out to him, all the best. But then, obviously, I've been indisposed the past couple of days. Caught up with the episodes today because my wife recorded them for me, and it showed the new guy that came in, some guy from X Factor, Jake. He was smoking a roller.
From what?
X Factor. Yeah, I don't watch that, but he was smoking a roller, and no one said anything. And then straight after, it went to the adverts, and it showed the VIP ad.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And then went back to the show. Now, my question is, why is it okay to show these celebrities, in inverted commas, because most of us don't know who most of them are, but why is it okay to show them openly smoking tobacco, but there's a huge uproar when there's an advert for an e-cigarette? Andy, what are your thoughts on that?
I personally, well, we spoke about this earlier. Now, from a television point of view, these guys are probably filming 24/7, waiting for those inopportune moments where one of them wakes up in the night with a desperately funny amount of explosive diarrhea. And let's face it, as smokers, if we had the opportunity to, we would have a fag in our hands or in our mouth. So if you play devil's advocate there, you know, if these people are smokers, they're going to have a cigarette in their mouth, just as we are as vapors, and within easy reach there is an e-cigarette. However, I do see your point. If the media is up in, literally up in arms about, oh my God, they put an e-cigarette on the telly and it's got a woman and she's got boobs and everything. Why allow, if they're going to get that much in arms about an e-cigarette, then why the hell are they going to allow people smoking on TV?
Okay, so I get your point about the reality where the cameras are on them 24/7, but what about all the normal shows? Like you see Dot Cotton in EastEnders, she's constantly smoking. You see people in films and they're constantly smoking. Why aren't people saying stuff about that? But they're up in arms against an e-cig advert.
Oh, see, again, you've come up with an excellent comeback. I suppose, whatever way we cut the media, cigarettes are very deeply ingrained. Let's cut back to the old cowboy adverts. There are other cowboys available, I might add. You know, I've lampooned them in my YouTube, all sorts of adverts, and that one particularly. That had, I think, a lasting effect through the decades. Now, I'm sure somebody in our personal chat will tell us when the last cigarette advert on TV aired. However, I do remember a certain video with a certain certain advert with a certain Scottish comedian for a certain cigar airing as late as the late 80s.
Yeah, was that the one with the air and the G-string playing in the background?
That was the one with air and the G-string playing in the background, indeed. There are, of course, other classical movements available. So, you know, 1965 for a fag advert, and 1993 was the Hamlet. So early 90s.
Yeah.
So I stand corrected. But, you know, timescales wise, you know, it's within living memory. You know, I mean, I was born in 79. So 65 is not that long beforehand, you know. So these are residual images, at least as a collective memory. So I think, even to this day, even though we are here, we are proud to be e-cigarette users, that whole, I see this every day in the shop, there's a certain reticence to let go of tobacco. And I've been thinking about this, best part of this afternoon, because this is really, really grinding my gears. There's a certain reticence to let go of tobacco for whatever reason, be it addictive quality, be it the image. Let's face it, cigarette smoking still has that rebellious, ridiculous, cool notion to it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, look at your stereotypical 50s bad guy. I'm particularly into my 1950s imagery and vintage and all that sort of stuff. and your typical white t-shirt, leather jacket wearing sort of rebel had a smoke. He had a cigarette.
Yeah.
He was cool. So I think this is where we've become almost blind, because it's just been so ingrained through this level of cool, then admonishment, and then it's just there.
So do you think then it's more a level of public perception that because everyone's got so used to tobacco being around,
Yes.
and e-cigs are new,
And disruptive.
yeah, but people don't realise that e-cigs are more beneficial than tobacco, that they're just used to seeing people using cigarettes or cigars or pipes?
The amount of times I get told, well, stick to the real thing, it's easier. That's got to come from somewhere. You know, that has to come from somewhere. And it has to be that ingrained collective memory, if you will.
And do you think that might have something to do with why I've lost my train of thought there.
You sure you're okay, dude?
Yeah, I'm thinking about why people are so up in arms again about cigarettes being locked away, but they're still on sale, and yet e-cigs, we're talking about them going.
Well, again, as the good Professor Hayek said, it's disruptive, very disruptive. I mean, look at the kick in the balls we've given to a lot of big bodies. Right, for a start, we've literally, just by existing, challenged the tobacco industry. Right, just by existing, we must terrify them. Okay?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Right, because we've got this alternative that isn't going to kill off its user 10 years down the line. Pharma, well, so what we like about pharma, they must be terrified because it's a recreational product that's freely available to everybody. Yes, you could argue freely available to everybody who's got the money, but if you're in that position where you have to go to a doctor, then that brings up all sorts of other questions. I'm not even going to touch on a 20-foot barge pole right now, but it's a recreational product. You don't have to go for any medical anything to get it. You know, it's freely available on, forgive the terminology, street corners. As for everything else, the government are terrified because they haven't found a way to tax it yet. We have a comment. If, inverted commas, celebrities are shown smoking, isn't that glamorizing smoking appealing to the kids? Nothing wrong with it, in my opinion. Where's BMJ editorial?
Yes, I will come in on that point here because
thank you very much.
My eldest daughter, Sophie, she watches I'm a Celebrity. And now I don't mind her seeing smoking, I don't mind her hearing the swearing, you know, they bleep out the more harsh words, but she enjoys it because it's fun. She has seen me using an e-cigarette for 2.5 years now. And she's got no inclination to either smoke or use an e-cig. She likes the smell sometimes of the different juices that I use, but there is no sign of her wanting to use an e-cigarette. There's no sign of her wanting to use a normal cigarette. But yes, showing celebrities, inverted commas, smoking surely is glamorizing it more than showing some attractive woman who people don't know in an advert using an e-cigarette.
I suppose with this, my chair, ladies and gentlemen, I must apologise. I think my chair is on its way out, so if you see me gently falling to the ground, it's because the gas springs in my chair have died a death. But back to topic. I suppose seeing a celebrity that we all know and have welcomed into our lounges for X amount of years, decades, whatever, smoking is a lot more friendly than seeing the likes of you or I, who are essentially new faces, you know. And I suppose with that reticence that smokers have to give up the evil weed, are quite scary. We must be in specs. I mean, it's been said before in chat that cloud chasing can be very leery. In fact, I had a conversation this morning in a shop that I frequent in town. I never asked it before, but you know, I thought the guy was kind of down with the cool kids, as it were, and said, "Do you mind if I use my e-cig?" He goes, "No, we don't actually have a policy on it." So I pulled out this thing, the 26650, and I said, "Do you know what? Actually, I'll take it outside because this one is a bit leery." And I went outside. He dealt with me. I got an issue with the tablet that I use for monitoring chat and stuff. And this chair is doing my head in.
I think you're just getting shorter, mate.
Kick you in the nuts.
You put me in the nuts in a bit. That's where you're going.
Wait, it's enough about head. Right, I had a really good point there. So anyway, he was fiddling around with my tablet, and I went outside to have a vape, and let's face it, I like chucking the cloud. And so I came back in, and he goes, "I didn't see what you did there. Would you mind demonstrating to me and his boss, the owner of the business?" And so I'm like, "You sure? Because this is leery, and it has been known to set off smoke alarms." He goes, "Well, has it got smoke in it?" I said, "No, but if it's a particulate sensor, it's going to see it as smoke." He goes, "I'll just do a little one." So I did, and he was like, "Yeah, would you mind doing that outside?" I was like, "No, that's why I went outside in the first place." So we must have, because of the disruptive nature, new faces coming to the fore that people have never seen before. So yes, and let's face it, every single one of us on the team are utterly pro e-cig. Every single person in chat and who will ultimately see these videos are very pro e-cig, and everybody that we talk to is very, very pro e-cig. Almost to the point of could be misconstrued as a slightly fascist. And this, how can I be serious when I'm slowly sinking?
Or shrinking, as the case may be.
I'm gonna get. I've got Annie's bumbo here. I'm just gonna sit in that. So you know, is it a case of that? We're quite leery, proud, and upfront and in your face. E-cigs for the win. And these people have been around for 20, 30, 40 years, and we're just used to seeing them smoke. It has to be something to do with ingrained living memory. It's the only reason I can come up with, because we live in an age where, which leads us neatly into the next section, which we're running very fast upon, where we are told everything we do is dangerous, including internet broadcasts.
Yeah, but before we get to that, I've got a story. It happened to me last week. And again, it's on the subject of the public perception of things. So I think it was last Wednesday, and I was doing the school run. And Sophie's school is about a 15-minute walk away. You know the village where I live.
Yeah.
So we walk through the square. I go and get Sophie. On the way back, I go and get Beth from the first school. And then we're walking through the shopping centre. Now, at the shopping centre, outside a large Sainsbury's, are a row of benches, and all the time you can see 3 or 4 people and they're smoking cigarettes. Fine with me. We walk past them. Carry on walking down the path. Row shops on the left. There's a church on the right. There's a pub on the end. Then there's a beer garden on the side, and it's the smoking area. So you've got people who are smoking and they're drinking, and there's a tiny little gate and a small path, and then bang opposite that is children's playground. So that's on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side is a lake, sorry, and there's a benched area, and there's a lot of people who sit on those benches and smoke. And then this woman, she's walking towards us this way, and I'm walking back home with the girls, and she's walking past a little shelter. I don't know why it's there, because as soon as they built it, it was graffitied, and it's just a place, I think, for kids to funky jazz cigarettes. But she's walking past those, and she's come towards me. And now I've got in my hand, when I'm walking, I just carry an ephod. That's it.
Are you seeing it at work?
Yeah, it's it's pretty inconspicuous. Carry on. So we're walking.
Not like that, is it?
No, exactly. So we're walking past Sainsbury's, and there's the smokers on the bench outside. We carry on walking. We just got past the people at the pub, and the people at the lake. And this woman comes up and she says, "You shouldn't be using that in front of your kids." I said, "Excuse me?" She said, "I've heard bad things. I've heard the batteries explode, and I've heard that they can make your kids want to smoke cigarettes." So I said, "Right." And I just looked down, and I looked up, and I said, "Right, back there, you've got a bench full of people who are smoking cigarettes." I said, "Over there, you've got a benched area of people smoking cigarettes." I said, "You just walk past people smoking pot, and right next to us, you've got people who are smoking cigarettes and drinking in the middle of the afternoon in front of the playground, and you're telling me I'm a bad influence. Shut up," and walked off. And she was shouting after me, and she was saying, "Oi, I was talking to you. I was talking to you." So I turned around, and we just walked on. And then, but the best thing was my daughter, Sophie, she turned around and she said, "Daddy, you told her." I thought, "Yeah, I did."
I had a very, very similar experience myself, and you've literally just reminded me of it, and I'm going to run through it very quickly because we're running over for the first outbreak. I go to Sussex very regularly, where Tim Boniface has his shop, to pick up my daughter to bring her back here for her holidays. I have a cousin who lives very near Tim, and I was walking over to his, and I literally had a toot on my e-cig, and what can only be described, I'm probably going to get told off for using this word, as a chav, when, "I don't want you smoking that crap pipe round my child, it's disgustable," and then sparked up a joint.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I downward and I walked on. On that note, let's roll the ads.
Joytech UK are proud sponsors of VapeTrails.tv.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Award-winning service and products from cloud9vaping.co.uk.
Vapers, do you love discovering new e-liquids? Tell Dripper the types of flavours you like and they'll send you 5 gourmet juices each month. Experience new and exclusive flavours, all with a money-back guarantee and free delivery anywhere in Europe. Dripper.co.uk.
The Vapers Lounge.
Hi, my name's Dan from the Vapers Lounge Radio. This is Mittens, and tomorrow we'll be trying some of the most weird and wonderful e-liquids known to man. Have you ever wanted to try rotting shark flavoured juice? Well, neither have I, but tomorrow we'll be doing just that for you and for science. So I hope you join us. We've got some great giveaways, some vape news, and a lot of good music. Tomorrow night from 7 before Vapor Trails TV on the Vapers Lounge Radio.co.uk.
The Vapor Lounge, where music makes clouds.
With a couple of comments from chat there. First one first. Wicked.
What the hell?
It's technical errors.
Hello?
Technical errors. Errors. Anyway, no, we're going to go there.
No,
Right.
we don't go there. We stay
Couple
out of them.
comments from chat. First one from Tok1. I'll give him that name. If everything everyone ever heard was true, this world would be one screwed up world. I once heard you could get gold from leprechauns. Well, I'll put an answer to that. I asked my mum once. She told me to get away from me, you demon spawn child. And the animal lawyers come with a fairly decent point there. They think children are well educated, so will tell parents off for smoking. Funnily enough, kids these days are pretty smart. And I just knocked my e-cig flying. You know, my daughter Abby tells her mum, "Mummy, you should get an e-cig," but when I vape around her, she's like, "Don't blow it at me. Don't blow it at me. It's bad."
Yeah, I
From
think
her
we
point of view-
underestimate kids, don't we? I mean, especially
Yeah.
these days. They see so much going on around and they hear so
Kids are
much.
smart these days.
Yeah,
It's just a
kids.
case of
They know shit. Yeah, sorry. Language.
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 Oh my god.
They
So
don't
I've been
shite.
watching. Oh, Jay.
But no, they know what they're seeing. They're well educated. They are told what is good for them, what is bad for them, what they should do in moderation. If the, you know, I don't drink in front of my kids. I like a drink at night time, but it's when they've gone to bed. But yeah, same here, right?
But
But-
for adults doing adult things in an adult environment with
Exactly.
all children present.
Yeah, but when you've got, like the story I was saying earlier, you've got a beer garden with people smoking and drinking in the middle of the
What got
afternoon,
me
right
about
next to a
that-
children's play area. What the hell?
What got me the most about that is the funky jazz cigarettes. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
fairly anti-drug.
yeah.
You know, I'm fairly tolerant, but that's one of the things you just don't do, right? These things
Well-
are illegal for a reason. I know it's a whole different kettle of fish.
Yeah. I mean,
But-
it's, you know, I'm completely opposite. Well, with regards to funky jazz cigarettes, I don't do it myself anymore, but I did do, and I don't see the harm in it. It's
Everyone's experimented, Dave, but
Yeah.
you know, experimentation is experimentation.
yeah, it's a different kettle of fish though. But what I'm saying is, if you've got one of the moms at the school, and I'm not going to mention her name because she might be watching, but every day from 12 o'clock she is in the pub. She then goes and gets her kids from school and goes back to the pub. They go to the playground. She sits outside smoking and drinking until about 10 o'clock at night. Now, that's not good. But her
Okay, I'm gonna
kid,
swear
now
here.
her kid, hang on, no, before you do, her kid is a friend of my daughter's. And she is the loveliest kid, well, one of the loveliest kids that I've ever met. She's sweet and kind, and she knows her stuff. And she knows what her mum is doing is wrong. And she said this to me. Now, that says to me, kids know. They are being educated in this stuff. So why not educate them in e-cigs?
I'm sorry, it's very hard to offend me. Very, very hard to that house. Shall we move on to the next subject before I lose my rag and swear?
Have a rant if you want, mate.
No, I'm not, because I will say things that will get us banned from air. Let's move on. Right. Certain somebody has been made into a certain position, which I will need to look up upon the scats, and I think this is frankly an affront to humanity. Martin Mcphee, or as I like to call him, Nanny Mcphee. He is now Professor of European Public Health at the London School of Hygiene and President-elect of the European Public Health. How the hell did this happen?
Oh, who knows?
Right, not only is the man fairly vilified within the e-cigarette community, I can hear him right now. Oh my God! I can imagine him dancing like Batman across rooftops at night, going, "You can't do that. You're not allowed. It's coffee. You might wake up all night." the man is a puritanical prohibitionist. In the conversation, in my opinion. This guy gets my dander up. Well, I could do a whole chap up someone who's how.
I'm going to just jump in there, Andy. Sorry, I'm just going to jump in there because I've not seen this story. I've been in hospital for the past couple of days. Now you've got people working in public health who they were happy for me to be vaping while I was in there. They didn't have a problem with it whatsoever. And these are doctors and nurses. These are trained professionals. They've been studying for years, right? Mm-hmm. You get some dickhead who is put in charge of public health. How does that happen?
Mm-hmm. This is why I'm asking the question. A regular of mine, I may have already mentioned this story, a guy by the name of Big John. Wonderful bloke. Absolutely lovely bloke. He brought me chocolate milk yesterday at work. He has critical heart failure. Now, I'm not saying the end result of this story is a direct result of vaping, but on the cover of it, it seems to be. He's going for further testing, I might add, just to confirm things. Heart failure does not categorically improve. 7 months ago, he made the switch. A couple of weeks ago, he went for a checkup. His heart condition had gone from critical to moderate. Frontline troops, and they did double check, they thought the machine was initially faulty because of his condition. Hearts just don't improve like that. Not in 7 months at least, anyway. So they went, behind the scenes and went, I need to get a second opinion on this. This machine is clearly faulty, what's going on? And they brought another person in, another machine in, they double checked, they triple checked, they quadruple checked, and his heart condition had improved from critical to moderate. Now, the guy's condition is never going to go. And they are looking into it. So they're bringing forward a ultrasound scan on his heart forward a year and a half to see what's going on in detail. But on the face of things, vaping has seemed to improve his condition. And these people, these doctors, these nurses, these professionals on the front line have gone, yep, by the looks of it, making that switch has improved your health drastically, which every single one of us can say one way or another. I was never
absolutely. I mean, I had when I started vaping, I'd been smoking between 20 and 30 a day. 6 months after I'd started vaping, I went to see my doctor, and he ran the whole tests to see what your lungs are like and all that stuff, and he put down that I'm no longer a smoker. So it does improve your health. And I mean, I've had problems, but it's not attributed to vaping.
Well, they're attributed to you being a spastic, but...
that's a bit harsh.
Yeah, nutty.
Yeah, stick my numbers.
Apologise for that comment. Utterly retract it, but he is still an idiot.
Yeah, so are you. So
yeah,
peas in a pot, mate. Peas in a pot.
You're wearing a gorilla suit. I've got a monkey with a tail, which I sat on earlier. It was not present.
And you've also got a head like it's had a period. So
I am so gonna punch you in the face. so hard. Be like this. Hey, me now. Kissy poo.
I'll just run. We've been through this before.
I can run faster than you.
You cannot run faster than me. Anyway, back on to...
I'll be all like this. But seriously, right, so we've got all these health professionals on the front lines, the people who check you out, saying, dang, this stuff is good. And then some bright spark goes, oh yeah, no, I'm going to demolish these things and make them all demolish? Demonize? Sorry. Demonize.
Numpty.
Shut up, you. With your hair. And your paper T5. With its funky stuff. Anyway, we're arguing again. Move on. Somebody in the right mind has gone, this guy should be in charge of health. And I can only say, the hell is wrong with you? Nobody likes Martin McKee. I was about to make a comment about swallowing there, and I'm not.
Good.
A certain chat has got it. if you catch my drift. What the hell's going on there? Seriously. I was both. Oh, great comment from Rob Tafey there about us running. Both Mina and Andy would fall over if they tried running, though. It's true, we probably would.
Yeah, probably.
But we'd film it and put it into the titles.
Yeah.
And
I'd probably break my shoulder again.
Oh God, don't. When you first did it, I honestly thought. Anyway, moving on. Back to the topic. How? Right, rant mode activate. Are we doing enough? Because this man got elected as a public health official. Vapors, I'm disappointed. How the hell did we let this happen? This guy is a serious thorn in our side. Nobody likes him. His dad don't like him. His mummy don't like him. His dog don't like him. Nobody. The hell? No, I don't get it. You think this is bad? You should have seen me on Shenanigans. Oh my God, I called him names. I just don't get it. Actually, no, I do get it. Right? We've got this bloke. We're all shouting to be heard. We're all shouting to try and make the powers that be hear us and saying this can only be good for public health. Trouble is, Mcphee seems to be shouting louder. We need to find a great big amplifier and make him squeal like a little mouse. I'm done.
My problem is that we're going back again to the public health part. So when you're talking about public health, you're talking about safer things for public, right? So how can cigarettes being on sale be okay, but him turning around and saying, no, you can't have flavours in them, you can't have this kind of strength, you can't do that. But you can buy cigarettes in extra low strength and high strength and everything in between. That's going to be okay, but different strengths.
I wish to interrupt.
Go on.
We can't buy flavoured tobacco. Yes, according to Mark McKee, we can't buy flavoured tobacco. That's all going to be outlawed, yeah?
Yep.
Right, I'll see you next week with a packet of peach flavoured tobacco or cherry or something.
I've got some cherry somewhere, actually.
I know. I will.
Very bloody old, but I've got some.
Film myself going. I'm going over to Cheltenham in the week to see my mummy, Mama Fury. And I'm going to go into town. I'm going to go into a place that I used to get my cigarettes from as a sort of young'un, as it were, when I was living in Cheltenham. And I'm going to go to this place, and I'm going to find the most sweetie flavoured tobacco I can find, and I will show and tell next Monday. There you go.
Yeah.
Stick that in your pipe and look at Mr. McKee.
Nanny Mcphee.
Oh, I'm still going to get told off after the show, aren't I?
Yeah, just a little bit, man.
Oh man, it was worth it, man, just to get that off my chest.
Right, on that note, shall we take the second ads and then go into the next?
Yeah. Well, we've got 2 minutes. I could rant some more. No, let's take the ads.
No, let's take the ads.
Healthy Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and e-liquids. Proud sponsors of vaping entertainment on Vapor Trails TV.
RY4 Radio.
And we are back in the room, as a certain other VGTV presenter likes to say.
Is it going to start again now?
I don't know, I'm waiting.
And it's gone.
Oh, we're good.
Right, there's something I want to mention here, actually.
Go.
Right. Going back around to the beginning of the show when we did that Planet of the Apes thing.
Ooh.
Right?
Uh-huh.
We don't want war, but war has begun. I think that pretty much sums it up, doesn't it?
They bloody started it.
Yeah.
They started it with us. All we wanted to do was vape and make a choice, an adult conscious choice for ourselves. They picked on us. And unfortunately, we're bullshit gits. Coming back in again with a comment from Jan Su Fin. Hope I've pronounced that right. I just had a doctor's appointment. She said they aren't allowed opinions on e-cigarettes. Wink, wink. Love that comment. That's a really good one. Almost as good as a leprechaun one, but only because I'm half Irish. Moving on.
That is a good comment, because my doctor has said, carry on vaping. You know, vaping's fine. They don't have a problem with it. And the doctors, when I've been in the hospital, and the nurses, they're absolutely fine with it. And they've seen improvements in a lot of people. Obviously, they have more patients than me. And they don't have a problem with it. So why can they not have an opinion?
That's a really interesting question, actually, because I'm hearing sort of two sides of that story. Some have an opinion and voice it. Others, in this particular case, are not allowed to voice it. I suppose that comes down to various different areas, I suppose, because we had, where was that one area recently where the one doctor opened up an e-cigarette shop next to his surgery? Because he's just got into it. You know, he's like, you want to quit smoking? There you go, quit smoking, but sort of continue it, just with a different delivery method. That's not going to kill you, you know, at least theoretically, if we are to play devil's advocate here. We could go on and on and on and on about that one, but we won't.
No, we'll stick a pin in that.
All right, stick a pin in it, as we say here on Drips and Tips, and talk about trademarking. Now, I believe yesterday Mr. Kitson talked about branding, yes?
Yes, that was interesting, because one of the things he talked about was about putting the logo onto the device, the cologne, and then selling it on and saying it's like a nemesis, right? And he was talking, and Dave Dawn mentioned about guitars and how it actually encouraged sales of the real thing. Now, I can say, in my view, that's absolutely right, because I bought a Nemesis clone from a certain Chinese website that shall not be named, and it worked great, but it broke after a few weeks. And when I got the money together, I went and got the real McCoy.
funnily enough, I have a similar story with a cheap and cheerful Chinese copy of a certain guitar that me and Mr. John have a bit of an affinity to, which, you know, having bought the cheap and cheerful, found I particularly like that guitar, and I've owned several of the real thing. You know, I like that particular version so much, I was like, well, I want to save up and try for the proper job.
Yeah.
Now, I don't really like calling clones clones. I like using something that TalkRI1 mentioned months and months and months ago to me in passing. I don't like the term clone, but I prefer the word tribute. Now, with this whole branding thing, you know, I've got a clone Stingray here, for example, and it's got all the relevant doodabbery that would come on a proper Stingray.
Yeah, I've got the same.
Right. Now, if we just call it a tribute, and it had tributary, is that a word? Markings on it, so similar, but enough different to make it a separate entity. For example...
See, I wouldn't even use the word tribute. I would call it, like I think Dave Dawn said, call it something completely different. But in the description, you can say it's based on a particular mod.
Okay. We've actually come across something we disagree on.
Yeah.
Miracles
it's about bloody time, isn't it?
I know, we've been getting on so well for these past couple of weeks, and we've mostly been arguing tonight. Okay, I'll roll with that. So this leads me neatly into the actual meat and two veg of this particular section. Trademarking. Now, I have been involved indirectly with a trademark dispute over the past couple of days. It's with a friend of mine's company and another company. Now, the way this has panned out is the two companies have actually gotten together and spoken about it. They've actually, the two heads of each company have had a phone call or a Facebook chat or whatever. I'm not entirely certain of that fact. But they've come to an agreement between themselves how they're going to resolve it. And it has ended up in the rebranding of my friend's company, but it's not as bad as it initially was thought. Now, they had a massive ding-dong initially, and everybody's going, rah, 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 on this side, everybody's going, rah, 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 on that side, and right up until about 20 minutes before the show, on my Facebook group, people were still having digs. I nipped that in the butt. I pulled rank and I was like, no, they're settling this mutually. Now, this is thankfully a relatively pain-free resolution to this particular situation. But I've got to ask a question. With so many up-and-coming companies, legit or not, like home brewers or proper people who've done proper business plans and set up proper business premises and mixing labs and clean rooms and proper shops and everything. Now, I know people from both sides of the fence on that. How long is it before this really does go tits up and we start screwing ourselves up from the inside? Davey?
That's a very good question. And if I may, can we bring Dave Dawn into this? Because I'm sure he's got a few things to say about this.
We always bring Dave Dawn into it.
If he's happy to.
You rang.
Hello, Dave.
Hello, David. It is after 8.
All right, let's not do the pre-show during the show. Okay.
The chocolate mint now. I'm liking this idea.
Right. Yeah. Right. Trademarks, Dave. Where do you stand on this, and how do you see it panning out with the industry growing and so many companies popping up?
Oh, right. Look, a trademark is very different from a patent, but an identifying mark that is owned by a company, or I don't know. Pick one. Pick any one you like that's got an identifying mark. That is their brand. And the way the law stands in the UK, at any rate, if someone goes into business, well, let's say you started a business up called Foofy and Mina's e-cigs, right?
You should so do that.
Oh God, yeah.
So Foofy and Mina's e-cigs has been running for the last, I don't know, 10 years, flogging e-cigs, and you've got your own little logo F&M, you know? And then Daz and I decide we're going to start up Mcphee and Feena's e-cigs. And we use F N, where you've got F ampersand N. You would be well within your rights to take us to court, serve a cease and desist, and stop us from trading as Mcphee and Feena, because we're passing ourselves off as you. And exactly the same really applies to tributed devices, as you would say, Andy.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody pulls out something that's got all the Kraken logo all over it, it's not a bloody Kraken if it's not made by the Kraken people.
Indeed.
The same applies with the GG. The same applies with everything. And when they start plastering all the identifying marks on these things, it's counterfeiting is what it is. It's not being a tribute. It's not, cloning's being termed, but it is actually counterfeiting. In the guitar world, Fender and Gibson and what have you have defended their IP to the fullest extent.
Oh, God, yeah.
And now it means you can go and buy something that on the face of it looks like a Strat, but it ain't a Strat.
Well,
and if there is one,
SG.
exactly right. The only people that can turn out an SG that is actually the same measurements as an SG is Epiphone.
It's Gibson.
Epiphone,
You see, I didn't have an Epiphone. I had a Stag.
Well, Epiphone,
initially.
Epiphone, prior to Gibson buying them out, was a clone Ranger, but their quality was so good that Gibson bought them. Same with
What
Fender
about
and Fender.
Squire, though? I know this is completely uneasy related, but interestingly, Squire were the same, were
Yes, Squire were the same. Fender Japan was the same.
Hmm.
The bottom line on it was their quality was on a par with the low-end Fenders, and Fender realised that they needed to get a low-end mark out there. Now, it's interesting that one of the e-cig companies has done exactly the same, and that's the people that have come out with the, and I can never pronounce this, the early Koningen.
The old Koningen.
That one, yes. You can now get an Earl Prince.
I saw these today.
Yes. And the Earl Prince is produced by the same people that do the Earl Koningen.
Earl Koningen.
That one. And made by them, it's a lower price. I think it's about 37 quid compared to the 120 euros of the Earl
Koningen.
What he said. So they've cloned themselves, if you like, with slight differences, so you can't pass it off. You can't pass the Earl Prince off as being an Earl Koningen.
So, like you said in your VT last night, Dave, you mentioned about buying out people who are making good. You said there were some good clones out there, so are actually better than the other ones.
Yes.
So would it not be good practice, therefore, for these people, for the e-cig manufacturers, to buy these companies out rather than take them to court and stop people getting cheap copies?
Well, the problem with it is that companies that are turning these clones out are almost 100% of them are in China, and they have got no interest in, it would appear, any negotiations with the original clone makers. The other major problem as well, of course, is that what they are cloning is being produced by the man in his shed. As Dave was saying last night, you're talking about, guys that are like Gary Dibley. They've got a shed and they've got their lathes and whatever gear in there. They come up with a design. The waiting list for some of this stuff can be up to 2 years because a lot of it is handmade. But within a couple of months of it coming out, the Chinese factories have got it. They've put it through their CAD units, stuck it onto their automatic lathing machines and whatever it is they use, and wallop, they're knocking them out by the thousand, whereas the original mod makers are standing quite often with a manual lathe turning these things out one at a time, and it might take them 3 or 4 days to do one, while the factory in China is knocking 1,000 a day out. That's the difference. So,
and that's the problem that was pointed out yesterday, was that you've got the potential there for someone to have a copy and then go onto one of these forums or eBay or somewhere like that and try and sell it off as an original one.
Well, you could get that by the mere fact that they don't know. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, out of interest, I got the Kraken, the original Kraken when it was launched. Kraken piece of kit. The puns were enormous in the show that night. And out of interest, I bought the clone. And to be honest, what?
Gary Dibley's just said, "Don't clone my stuff because it's shite." as a user of Gary Dibley's stuff, yes.
He might think that I couldn't possibly comment.
Right.
Bottom line on all of this thing is, if as long as everything is badged up and looks as much like the original as possible, people will be confused, and that I really, really don't like. Fender wouldn't stand for it, but the man in the shed doesn't have the money to take an international court case on, and unfortunately, these big Chinese cloners know that.
And it's the same with this particular incident that I've been involved with over these past couple of days. You know, this is one guy on his own, and he does have the money to, but the trademark's been brought, so he's in a bit of a rock and a hard place. And I think we could probably continue with this actually, and see it evolve. However, we are drastically running out of time. For now, there's that pin. Mina.
Yes.
Dawn. We have a lineup to do, so do you want to do it? Because you can read it this time. It's been kindly typed up for you.
What, me?
Yeah, you.
No, it's over there. I can't read it.
Oh, for God's sake.
You know this. How many weeks have we been doing this now? And you know I cannot read what is typed in there.
The reading glasses are on,
Go
Mina.
like this. But now I can see it.
Well, read it then.
But I'm not
Oh, for God's sake, I'll do it then.
Just, yes, go on.
Lineup.
I can do the VTTV lineup, but you can do the RY4 one.
Well, you do the VTT. Right, I'll start with the RY4. So tonight, after tonight's show, that's after tonight's show, by the way, folks, is Reggie's Monday Honky Tonking. Dave?
What?
Okay, I'll carry on then. Tuesday.
You said you were doing RY4.
Yeah, I said I was doing RY4, but we want to take it in turns. Tuesday, there is no Rob Taylor because he's currently moving from Malta to England. Tune into the Facebook page for more updates and stuff. Wednesday, it's Nicky's Juicy Bitch. Yeah, it's Nicky's Juicy Bitch. On Thursday, it's DJ Balbo with the Chigley Zone. On Friday, it's a lock-in with Tim Boniface. I don't know if it actually is Tim Boniface, but it could be. I don't know anymore. I'm all confused. Saturday, it's Gaz's Saturday set because he's actually back. And then on Sunday, I'll be back because my stuff that I run it off is working again and I'm not projectile vomiting in my shop. There is no shenanigans this week because it's my birthday on Saturday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Your turn.
Right, okay. You shrinking again, Andy. Right, so VTTV tomorrow night we have Marco and Gary Dibley with Vapor Scene. We have on Wednesday night Matt Gerish with The Cave, and Thursday night we've got Dave Dawn back and Keith with his Top Pocket for the Haze Hour. Nothing on Friday, nothing on Saturday. Sunday night we have the Tackle Box, or Dave's Tackle Box with Dave Kitson, and then we'll be back with you on Monday night. And I think that's it.
Check us out one time. We might have actually done it.
We did! In it!
You actually just did that, didn't you? I'm so going to watch that back so many times. I'm going to record it, and I'm going to put it on a loop and put it on my YouTube channel with me singing over the top.
We can put it on the whole compilation video we're doing for the Dave Dawn's Christmas #1.
Oh, yeah. Dave Dawn's Christmas #1. If you haven't noticed it, by the way, Dave Dawn is Batman!
I am not Batman.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
I'm Spartacus.
I'm Patterson Bear.
Let's stop that there, and thank you very much for watching, everyone. We'll see you on next week.
Does that mean we can have the after 8 minutes there?
Capybara!